I need help. I have a few bucks I want to invest, but I'm not sure what to put my money into. Gold? Yeah, that seems pretty solid. Gold is always a good return on investment. Stocks? I don't know. You can never really trust the market. I mean, what if we have another crash? Tulips? Where do you think we are, the Dutch Republic? Well, at least for this video, that's exactly where we are. We're going to be talking about the first speculative bubble in history. Today we're diving into Tulip Mania, the flower obsession that swept its way through the Netherlands in the 17th century. What's up, everybody? You got your boy Smash here. Welcome back to my channel. This is my 8th and final video in a series entitled History's Strangest Events. Now, this is where we've looked at some of the weirdest, strangest, and most bizarre moments in human history. From mass hysteria to cataclysmic natural phenomena, we took a trip through some of our forgotten past. So if you enjoyed yourself here, don't forget to smash that like button and give me a follow. And of course, hit the little bell icon so you know when my next video drops. My next series is going to be about banned books, so we're going to be getting into some deep stuff next time around. Make sure you stick around. Now, everybody loves flowers. Well, almost everybody. They're beautiful. Well, most of them. And they smell great. From roses to daisies, from sunflowers to lilies, they come in all sizes, colors, and varieties. And we've used them to symbolize everything from friendship to mourning, to love and passion. But what if I told you that there was a specific period of time where you could exchange one single bulb of a specific flower for a dowry as a bride, or for the deed on a brewery? What if I told you entire homes and estates were being mortgaged in order to stockpile these flowers? That's crazy, right? What type of flower should be worth that much? Well, the tulip, of course. The tulip is a perennial, bulbous flowering plant native to Central Asia and Turkey. It belongs to the genus Tulipa and is a member of the Liliaceae family. The tulip has a cup-shaped flower with 6 petals and is available in a wide range of colors, including red, pink, yellow, orange, purple, and white. The history of the tulip can be traced back to the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century, where it was first cultivated as a garden plant. At this point, each flower had one single solid color. That was until growers learned to infect it with what they call the tulip breaking virus. And while the virus made tulip bulbs take longer to propagate, it would also break the one petal color on a tulip and create 2 or more colors, hence the name. This virus is what gives tulips the pattern we all recognize and love today. The cultivation of tulips soon spread to Europe when an ambassador of Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, gave them as a gift to Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent in Vienna. It was different from other European flowers of the time because of the intense saturation of the petals. From Vienna, the tulip made its way through the continent when they finally reached the Netherlands, where the flower really took off. The tulip soon became a popular garden plant in the country. It eventually became a prominent flower with the more well-off Dutch citizens, and was adopted as a symbol of wealth and prosperity. And of course, the wealthy see common folks enjoying something, and they want to find a way to hoard that for themselves, because hoarding all the money wasn't enough.
Eat the rich.
Woohoo! So in the Netherlands, the tulip quickly became a status symbol. And because of this, tulips quickly became a valued luxury item as well. Growers began developing different varieties and groups. The single-hued tulips of red, yellow, or white were known as Colorant. The multicolored tulips were called Rosen, Violetten, and the rarest of all, the Bazarden, or the Bazaars. These were yellow or white streaks on a red, brown, or purple breaking virus I mentioned earlier. Many of the growers gave their tulips fancy names, with many starting with the prefix general and the more popular admarial, often combined with the grower's name. Many of the different varieties from those times have actually died out, with only the most popular or the most easy to grow still remaining today. And I mentioned easy to grow because in the 17th century, we couldn't get any flowers we wanted any time of year, and in the northern hemisphere, tulips generally bloom in April and May, and usually for only about a week or so. During the dormant period, from June to September, tulips can be uprooted and transported, Because of this, all actual tulip sales occurred during this time. During the rest of the year, florists and tulip traders signed forward contracts before a notary to buy tulips at the end of the season. The Dutch saw tulips as durable goods and created a market. They would sell contracts for the tulip bulbs and provide them at the end of the season. And as the tulip continued to become more coveted, the price of these contracts continued to rise. At one point, even bulbs of unbroken tulips were going for over 100 guilders, or about $6,000 in today's money. The broken tulips, the good stuff, started hitting some outrageous numbers. As I mentioned, people were selling their daughters as brides for tulip bulbs. They were mortgaging their homes to buy contracts for tulips. And I say contracts because in most cases, these contracts were changing hands at different prices 5 times or more, without any actual bulbs being moved. This led the Dutch to describe the tulip trade as windhandel, or wind trading, because the contracts would be exchanged so many times with no bulbs leaving the ground. And this mania reached everyone, not just the wealthy. In his 1841 book, Memoirs of Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, British author Charles Mackay wrote, "A golden bait hung temptingly out before the people, and one after the other they rushed to the tulip marts, like flies around a honeypot. Nobles, citizens, farmers, mechanics, seamen, footmen, maidservants, and even chimney sweeps and old-clothes women dabbled in tulips." And as Tulip Mania reached its peak at the start of 1637, much like any market bubble that's come since, the tulip bubble was about to burst. Deliveries on contracts weren't being made, and bulb contracts started to go unfulfilled. As people started losing faith in the market and orders continued to go unfulfilled, the entire market started tanking. Prices for tulip bulbs dropped swiftly and significantly, and tulip trades were halted immediately. Between February and May of 1637, the tulip market had bottomed out completely. Though his claims have been disputed, Mackay claimed that the sudden collapse of the tulip bubble wreaked havoc on the Dutch economy. He stated, "Many, who for a brief season had emerged from the humbler walks of life, were cast back into their original obscurity. Substantial merchants were reduced almost to beggary, and many representative of a noble line saw the fortunes of his house ruined beyond redemption. However, because of the lack of consistently recorded price data, some argue it's difficult to draw any conclusions or to separate the myth from the reality." In his book, Mackay is credited with coining the term tulipomania. He argued that people, in large crowds, tend to act irrationally. He used other examples, such as the South Sea Bubble and the Mississippi Company scheme, to solidify his claim. And if you were around today, you'd probably have a lot more cases to study. And I know people like to think that this stuff doesn't happen anymore, but it does. All the time. Look no further than cryptos and NFT or the housing bubbles. Much like any bubble, they're not sustainable. And because all the focus is on the bottom line, here and now, as long as it's all about the highest profits possible, these bubbles will continue to pop up. And they'll continue to burst. And much like the Dutch Empire in the 17th century, when these bubbles do burst, the wealthy people that cause them usually end up okay, while it's people betting their life savings on a way out that end up paying the real price. And that's why the stock market is always such a risk. If it crashes, you'll lose everything. But I don't expect another Tulip Mania bubble anytime soon. With all the technological advances, I can get tulips anytime and not have to mortgage my home. Let me know your favorite flower in the comments below, and let me know what you think about Tulip Mania. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to follow and smash that like button. And of course, hit the little bell icon so you'll be ready when my next video drops. And if you don't want to wait another week, you can always catch more of me on TikTok and Twitch at SmashAdams28. I'm usually over there a few nights a week playing Jackbox games, so head on over to Twitch today and check out my schedule for community game night. And now that we've come to the end of my first series, I want to thank everybody for their support and helping me get my channel started. I have some big things planned, so come back in 2 weeks where we're going to be getting into some really serious stuff, especially in today's political climate. We're going to be discussing banned books and some of the history there. So come help me spread the word on why it's important to keep books available and why it's so dangerous to ban them. And until then, get smashed, everyone.